Hi, have you ever had this feeling that you are here to do something special, something big, that you're going to affect humanity or the world one way or the other? And you feel like, man, I'm here. Like, I feel this great purpose, this energy, this power, something. I'm here to do something. And you just feel it. And as life goes by, the feeling is there once in a while and you just don't see it happening. So, what is that feeling? What the heck, man? As kids, we have this like wanderlust. Look at the sky and crave for something beyond, something limitless, something we don't know how to describe, but it's just like something big and great. And how do we satisfy this feeling we have? We know something's out there, but what? It's natural. And then life happens. We have to grow up, study, go to school, university, college, and all. And then get a job, get a relationship, have a family, kids, house, and everything else. And besides your own life, other things happens, like everyday things around you. Some people get into traffic jam, others get in car accident. You're trying to get a pizza and someone steals your parking spot, and a lot of little troubles and issues in your life, little interceptions, and you just get involved in this physical body game that you forget that greatness you felt as a kid. Or maybe you feel like, damn, like there's something big, and currently my life, year after year, I just can't get it happening. Like, so what the heck? I look at kids because it's like purest form of a being that is not yet under control, not messed up. They're spontaneous, creative. They have this infinity in their head where it doesn't matter how you look like, what your skin color is. You can be orange, you can be blue, you can be pink and gray and all this stuff. It doesn't matter. They're like, hey, what's up? It doesn't matter if you would have 4 eyes, 5 eyes, what sex you have, how your body looks like. It doesn't matter. And their imagination, they accept everything. They're like, oh, look, you're going to have an arm of like this. There's going to be a weed and this is going to be a rock and you're going to have a tail too. This is awesome. And they're all happy about it. But that's the limitless. It's an infinite creation. And that's as consciousness is who we are. We constantly create and build and do things. And we accept it all. But here on Earth, one thing is you come here and you have this mind wipe. You don't remember your past lives. You don't know who you are. And then you have the world that's already controlled and has its own narrative telling you what you are and you should be and what you should do and focus on and what you should read and all the stuff. And we're like, we're not allowed to think for ourselves, not allowed to have our opinion anymore. Don't you even dare express your opinion or have one that is not, like not the same as the public and mainstream media. And all these things, this limits us. But as consciousness, before ever coming here on Earth, it's always play and game time and fun. The thing is, out there, as a consciousness, we don't really have pain. There's creation, there's destruction, and, like kids, they can do a lot of crazy things, but it's all play for them. And then they grow up. And of course, you can go like, oh, well, they start understanding life and that you feel pain and all this stuff, but it's just here on Earth and it's controlled. And, being spontaneous, being able to be yourself, to tell what you think and feel without having to worry about hurting someone else. Because they're just like, hey, it's my life. I'm just expressing myself. It's all good. And if I hurt you, blah, 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 like, it's all okay. But as we grow up, we get all sensitive. And of course, like, hey, you have feelings, that's fine. But we have this like case. We're being hurt, we're being tortured, then we get into the system and everything else. And we get limited. We all of a sudden put ourselves into this cage and cave in the victimhood and, all of a sudden have tons of problems and things to deal with that we stop seeing the beauty all around us. And I'm not saying that planet Earth is wonderful. Like there's a lot of bad things going on with it. A lot of people see it as a prison planet. Me too. I'm included in that circle. But if it wasn't controlled by, let's say, archons, if it wasn't, messed with by the public that can do pandemics and wars and everything else, that they wouldn't have that power. If we could just live the same way that we have lived before, with full responsibility, with creation, with just having fun, being able to understand each other and accept each other without having system push some narrative and make you feel bad, wrong, and guilty if you think or feel the other way. Like it's a big thing. But if you ever had this craving of, you're here to do something special, please share what it means to you. Because a lot of us, we of course come here with different goals. We're different, all of us. And those people that have this like wanderlust and feel like there's something big and special they need to do, well, it's our consciousness naturally telling us like, hey, you're in this game and so into this meaningless joke. Like you forget who you are truly. And of course we did, like we had this mind wipe. No one tells us who we are. And if they do, it's like very limiting. And so we forget our nature, what we're capable of. That you and I and everyone else, we are gods. We're freaking powerful. Our imagination, our visuals, it's the superpower. But everybody else makes it feel like, oh, you're just delusional. You're just making it up, like there's the whole, again, thinking that's like, if you think it differently, don't you dare. You're going to go into this wonderful nut house that they're going to feed you with pills and make sure you don't dare to visualize it again because you're freaking crazy. Don't you dare see that thing and tell me about it. Like they just can't accept it. But naturally, consciousness, that's what we all do. We constantly create. We think of something, we see it, we make it up. It's in our nature. And that whole grand thing, we've always been doing something bigger than just driving and, let's say, being in a job for 10 or 12 hours, just trying to survive. And hey, Akvita, well, why are you telling us this? Like, you can't change the fucking life or the system. You can't, we have to make money and all this stuff. I'm not saying that, you can't just, okay, let's drop everything you do and be the god and now what, right? Like not telling that. But it's a great feeling you have, like doing something big. A lot of people end up feeling like that resentment or guilt or like a failure or like they're lost or they didn't get something out of life because their whole life they've been feeling this. And then we get involved and we try to survive, we try to do our best. And that big thing we felt is not realized or is limited or is stopped. Or we keep on exploring, but, we get distracted by life and little things around us that, block after block and stop after stop. And you just like get this pushback and you have no time. And if you do, then it's not your priority. Like you constantly have to take care of something bigger. So with all that, I just have to like reflect on what am I here to do for myself and you too for yourself. And I'm looking at, I really love learning. So the more I learn, the more I understand. I know that I know nothing. What I'm telling you today, all of my videos, my entire life, I know nothing. But I keep on exploring. I keep on learning. I keep on trying to understand. I know I can be wrong lots of times. I'm trying to learn and get better. And if I made a mistake, I'm going to admit it and I'm going to keep on going on. And with all that, I love amplifying someone else's life. So being out there, we constantly learn and get better. And then we're looking for how can we help others? Elevating consciousness, elevating the thinking, our minds, trying to understand and do something bigger and better. And with that, like, hey, well, I have this ability to, let's say, get out of body. I've worked the muscle. I've been seeing things and I'm just going to share the story. Will that help you? We'll see. But I get this chance to talk to a lot of people, and even like yesterday, like I made this little video about like, hey, feel free to write me. We're gonna do a weekly quick scan and all the stuff. And people share their stories, and I see so much of, a lot of them have a lot of things in common. Like some people feel like they were partially, incarnated here, like they're the black sheep of the family, the hardships they've been through, the 20 and back, my labs, astral projections and everything else. And then there's the whole involvement with the Rothschilds and Ashkenazi Jews and, like other certain groups that they're like being in the bloodline, getting the whole karmic transference where, let's say, your whole family line can be pretty much evil and do lots of hard stuff for humanity. And they're never going to get consequences because by their laws and the way they do things, they're pretty much like, hey, no consequences here. I'm good. But the one being that's going to be the black sheep of the family and try to be good, the little bit of rebel, so to speak, but here for humanity instead of trying to control them, they're going to get this whole karmic transference, like all the harsh deeds that were done by the others in the family, in the bloodline, now are coming up, and it's like your consequences. You have to pay for it. Like someone didn't want to pay the debt and they got it on you, and now you have to do it. It's kind of like that. And just one thing after another, where I see so many people saying they have no one to talk to. They're all alone, that no one will understand. And yet all these emails I get, it's pretty much like fits in the same group. All these people, they have so much in common. So not being able to express our thoughts because, we're afraid of what the public will think. We don't want to be called crazy. We don't want to be put in the nut house. We, like, hey, I don't want all that attention. I've been through it. That's enough. And at the same time, we end up isolating ourselves. Whereas consciousness, as beings, that are not part of the system, we love expressing ourselves, talking and listening, connecting, sharing our stories and experiences. That's what we do. But the society, the way it's working, it's isolating a lot of beings that, experience something harsh, something out of this world. It's actually becoming very, very normal. It's very common. The abductions, like I'd say 1 in 4 people do experience that. A lot of people. And there's so much. And we can't talk about this, or most people feel like they can't. They don't really have anyone in their inner circles, the family, the friends, teachers, anyone else, coworkers, not really. And then online, good luck finding a group that you can actually feel connected to, because there's a lot of people who will take this idea, take the thinking or the teachings, and then put it their own way, whether just to deviate, whether just to trap people. Oh boy, all of these cults and groups, and like now we're pushing with the, let's say, Galactic Federation of Light and other groups that are telling like, hey, love and light, we're here for you, we're gonna come and save you and everything's gonna be okay, don't you worry, don't you do anything, and if you want work on yourself, there's a lot of good stuff in it, there's a lot of truth. And then it's like giving you a nice meat or something like for a dog, like, oh wow, like smells like a meat, looks like a meat. You want to do that, but it's filled with poison, lots of flies. And a lot of people like just buying like, yeah, manifestation, other things, this is great, shadow work, self-like betterment, and other things. Like a lot of this new age stuff is corrupted. It does have a lot of truth, it's great, but it takes so little lies to get us all sidetracked and making us feel bad, wrong, guilty. If you dare to like, oh, how dare you think negatively? How dare you feel angry? Oh, you're not fit to be here. You're creating all this darkness in the world. It's your fault because you've had this dark thought. Like, really? Like, there's a lot of people suffering from that. And, for us to be able to share how we truly feel, to be spontaneous, to not really like, it's good to care about others, but this care is like double-edged sword, because the society teaches that, oh, well, you don't care how you feel. Everyone wants to be this carefree, this freedom, like, finally, I can do everything, like, yay, carefree. That's great, right? But if you all of a sudden don't care, then you're bad and guilty. So caring is great. Feeling worried and anxious and everything else is great because you're caring. But if you don't care, if you don't feel anxiety, if you're not worrying, if you don't feel fear, that's bad. And all of a sudden carefree that like everyone's striving, like craving for, is now like really dark and bad thing to go for. But consciousness is carefree. It's limitless. It doesn't think, it knows. It has all this perception and it does things. And I don't know, like for me, this whole greatness we have to look at some of the things we've had as kids. being spontaneous, being able to express ourselves, being able to dance and sing and be crazy around people and not really give a damn about what they think, not really giving a damn about hurting others. Because right now it's more like victimhood society. Don't you dare have your own opinion that doesn't fit the narrative. And it's okay to have a different opinion. We have to agree to disagree. Everything I'm saying, you don't have to like that. You don't have to agree with that. And that is fine by me. I'm glad you have your own opinion. And I'm glad you have to, like you can look through all these things and cherry pick what you like and just go with that. That's great. I'm not going to be like, you have to believe what I say or else. And then everyone else is they're liars and they're bad. Like, no, everything around us is true because what you believe is true to you. What someone else believes is true to them. And our truths will be different. So truth is very individual. It's about us. It's all about how we see it. And in it all, the creation, being able to accept everything, like as consciousness, as in we look at this vast universe and all these things out there. And there's no limits. People have out-of-body experiences. They have dreams. They remember their past lives, or like, let's say they have same old dreams again and again and again, but it's actually recalling past life or going into a certain world. And people describe the weirdest beings. And that's what some of these sci-fi fantasy, let's say, writers end up creating and drawing. We have the stories about some kind of creatures in weird places, and we watch movies and like, wow, like this looks amazing. But all of these beings that wrote those stories and created and drawn it and used a CGI, they've been out there. They've seen it. The whole Star Wars thing, for example, someone has truly experienced that universe. Not necessarily with the same people, Luke Skywalker and all the stuff, but all these creatures, those planets, synthetics and everything else, like you just look at any kind of universe you like, the Avatar, Star Wars, like Marvel, anything you're interested in, it all exists. And we just like sort of like recall that thing we have experienced and put it down in words, and there it is. And for us, it's like, it's great if you can express it. And that's what I would strive for, like, be creative, express yourself, and good luck. Like, hey, easy for me to say. I have my YouTube channel. I can talk to you. You're going to listen to me, hopefully, and that's great. And most of you accept what I say. Great. If you don't, that's okay. There's a lot of people who have struggles with finding someone to talk to, but hopefully, like one day we might have a group, or just, hey, be yourself, be your full self. Like try getting back to dancing and look at, let's say, who you wanted to be as a kid and what kind of person you needed. Because I'm trying to be someone I needed as a kid, someone that would be there to listen, someone that would understand and accept me the way I am. And best case scenario, show me what to do with my skills and things I have. Explain like, hey, I have this like thing I'm seeing. And if I tell anyone else about it, they're going to call me crazy, but I'm seeing it. Like, what the hell? And I just need someone like, hey, what you're seeing is true. Like, it's right there. Great. I can see too. You're not crazy. So we need those things. And at the same time, how would you like to impact the society, people around you? What would you do different? How would you like this world to change for you? Like if you feel like, hey, well, this place would be better if, what's the if? What would you do different? What would you do better? Because all of these things that you see as a better world, better reality, better people, is what your consciousness is striving for, showing you what is right. This whole duality, being entrapped in the system that makes like that thinks for you and shows you how to act, what to say, what to do, and everything else, getting into this like frame of what we are supposed to be, we know it's not right. And everything else you can think of that would be better, that's what your consciousness is striving for. That's your big thing. So if you can just sort of like make it clear for yourself, whether you write it down or you just sort of like do this introspection, like think about it, like you're going to have all the answers. So if you ever had this craving for, you're here to do something big, look within yourself, look at, let's say this world, what would you do different? How would you be better? And, like all these things that you would change about yourself, about the world, about people around you and everything else, feel free to share in the comments, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have same mindset or similar perspectives to where we could see like, yeah, that's exactly how we view the world or creation or consciousness. and now we sort of know what kind of direction to go to. Taking action, everything else comes after it, but like once you know, then you can do it. So I'm just talking here, expressing myself, but hopefully it gives you something to think about or look at and talk about. So see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.